second that.
Your motion is second to approve as corrected. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Morning, everybody.
Good one from the audience. Big guy back there.
What's going on, sir?
Not much.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
Good. What do you got for us today?
So in the state's budget this
Assume
year,
everybody knows Curtis Gregory.
yeah. So State Representative Curtis Gregory was able to get a project done this year that Jeff and I have been talking about really since kind of the spring of '21 when my first year down in the legislature on the budget. And there was a lot of the federal ARPA money coming through and allocating to a lot of different resources, and clean drinking water and reliable drinking water is a very important thing to communities to grow and sustain, where they're at. And we weren't able to get anything done in 21 or 22, but this year was able to get a budget line item for close to $4 million for water main upgrades and drinking water, and I think some studies at the water treatment plant in the budget this year. And so through Jeff and Grant was able to get all the information I needed and got that stuck in the budget this year to bring money back to the 51st District and Marshall specifically. So just wanted to update you all on that, and it's official, it's signed, and I talked with the governor's office yesterday on kind of some procedures for how to draw down those funds, and we'll be getting that information to you as we learn more about that. So just wanted to make that announcement public and let you all know that I was able to secure that for you guys, and hopefully we can put it to good use.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I know you worked your butt off on that too. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You did very, very good.
Yeah, I want to thank Curtis. I mean, he's, you hear these announcements, and if you don't know what went into it, I mean, Curtis, he worked on this for several years. It didn't just, and stuck with it. And certainly, we appreciate it, and all the effort and hard work you put in, and we'll do the best we can with those funds for our community. But greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
Good news.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We got your back here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Any other, you guys got any business you want to bring up before we make it? Good. We'll move on into reports. Grant, good morning.
I do have one action item this morning. Brought this to you because it's not a budget item, and for the price of this printer that we use, it's used by all departments. It is 14 years old, and we've been having quite a few issues here lately with it. So we've decided to replace it after conferring with Jim and his department and his staff. We came up with a unit we think will fit our needs perfectly. So at this time, my motion is to purchase a new 36-inch large format printer scanner using quotes.
I was just curious, do we have, so this will do a D size drawing?
Oh, yeah.
A D size. And then, do we have a plotter, or do we even have a need for a plotter for AutoCAD?
Yeah, there's a plotter and a scanner copier, and there's a big, like a 36-inch roll, and then there's another 18-inch wide, smaller
Okay,
one.
so we already have one of
Yeah,
those?
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I would make a motion to purchase a new 36-inch large format printer scanner using quotes.
Second. A motion is second to purchase a new 36-inch large format printer scanner using quotes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. The only other thing I have is we did attend the kickoff meeting for the smoke testing. We're looking to move forward with that project probably around the third week of August. We've lined out some public notification issues that how we're going to address that, notify the public, and coordination with the fire department, the police department, etc. Other than that, I don't have anything to add what's in the packet unless the board has any questions.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna stuff envelopes and do door knockers? Or?
Yeah, and I think we're posting a video on Facebook that kind of shows you what to expect, and maybe even the city's website possibly. So we're gonna try to get maybe the radio, newspaper, try to get as many avenues out as we can. I think Jeff and I are in agreement that the more public notification is, the better. Try to keep the phone from ringing.
Mm-hmm.
See, the third week of August?
That's
Okay.
the target date as of now.
Yeah, they've got postcards. So Burns is going to send out postcards, and then we're going to give them a list of healthcare facilities, you know, kind of some critical facilities. They will make extra communication there as well. So then we do have some door knockers. Pretty good video. Been talking to Tony about if we can put a QR code on the postcard that'll link to the video or go to some other stuff. But still some minor details to work out. But we did have that meeting, and you know, I'm pretty comfortable with the plan we've got moving forward.
Nick, on your project status report, very first line, southwest lift station.
So those have been in the budget for several years. With the pricing now, I don't know, we're looking at options. I don't know that cutting those valves out is the best thing to do. I think probably with that station not being able to be down for a long period of time, the insert a valve situation where you can tap it live and insert the valve with the main hot, that's more what I'm leaning to. But it's hard to find a company that still does that. I know they're out there. I've just been struggling trying to get some information on that.
I was wondering about the repaint the water tower. I know that's been talked about. What's going on there?
With North Street being done and we're gonna take that reservoir out, I was kinda waiting till fall when water demand went down. It's still in the budget for this year, and I still plan to do it this year, but I kinda wanna move it to fall so we have the storage and the demand's not so high.
Well, hopefully we have to repaint that. I know last time we had a problem, but what's the typical lifespan on it?
30 years typically. They like it inspected every 5. And ours has been inspected, and there was just a few spots in it that they had to grind down and wire brush out and then patch with the epoxy. But the last time they did it, they said the next time there's no need for an inspection, you just need to blast it, paint it, take it down. So it kind of saved us some money on an inspection. So we're just gonna pull the trigger and redo the inside this time.
Any other questions for Grant? Thank you, Grant. Eric, good morning.
Morning. I just had a couple updates on that west bar screen. It's been repaired. It was repaired on Wednesday. And on our spreader truck, we just received it back yesterday. It's been repaired and ready to roll. Other than that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any updates on the pumps?
Yeah, actually, talked to RAS on our, or JCI on the RAS pumps. They're putting those back together this week, so I'm hoping to get them back next week.
Do we still got more to send, or is that all?
There's one in there that I'm probably gonna pull and get rebuilt once we get the other 2 back.
That will be on the shelf when we get it back.
No, I guess I'm talking about our RAS. On our Headworks pumps,
Yeah.
we've got 2 in the shop right now, and I'm hoping that spare one that they had will be back soon, and then we'll have a spare. We'll have a spare as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're slowly getting there. There's spots for 6. We've got 5, so
Yeah.
there's 2 out. When those are done, it'll be a spare. The return activated sludge pumps, it's 3 of those. 2 of those are out for repair. And we'll get those 2 back. We're gonna have to talk to Chris to send the other pump. Because those were put in 2016.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna put those on a schedule to maintain rather than wait till it quit. Because if those quit, this last one quits, the clarifiers fill up, sludge, and it goes in the treater. So we'll be glad when the others get here.
Any other questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. As you see, we did finish up construction in round 1. All the backbone is done, just continuing to hook up customers. Kind of get a few off the list and a few more come in, so it's been kind of fairly consistent, about 20 on the list. We did do another blow in Grant 2 this week, another 6,000 feet. Tried to do another one yesterday, and our machine is giving us some issues. So it's down for a little while we send the control box off to Minnesota to be repaired. So that'll hopefully be a quick turnaround. And USDA is supposed to be here next Wednesday for a brief meeting in the morning with some of the national people, just kind of see how cities, I think we're one of their few, maybe their first and possibly only city that they've got a grant for, so they're kind of wanting to see how it works for cities, municipalities. So that'll be it, coming up next week. That's about all I've got, unless you got questions.
Is Coleman working out on 20?
He's working on 20. I think he had some brush to clear a little bit, and there's not highway markers out there, so it was a little bit tricky to figure out where the property line is. So, but that's the last bit of his first contract. He's got his paperwork turned in for the second contract, so hopefully he'll be starting that soon, next week maybe. That'll be on the north side of the tracks out there, roughly the same area.
Any other questions for Jim?
I guess just the new truck, any update?
No news, no.
I thought about asking about that. I don't know if I want to or not.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. No. Thank you, Jim. Doug, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Not much to add. The overhead underground project, the guys are working on trying to locate buried utilities, looking at doing a couple 300-foot bores here pretty quick. The pole inspection's going well. I did talk to a crew member yesterday, and they're anticipating being done potentially next week. LED lighting upgrades, electricians are just about done. The electric distribution building, they'll be moving over to the underground facility building very soon. And other than that, I don't have anything else to add unless you have any questions for me.
Kind of the 60 poles that we got, any you got replaced or
They did find one that was a critical pole by the post office that we did have to address. It was in bad shape. So that was the only one so far.
It's a pretty good program.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug. Jerry.
Morning. I had a conference call with Keith Oates on Unit 6 yesterday morning. Our local representative and then two of their engineers. Their concern is the deep clean they were planning on doing. After doing some looking at the bore scope inspection we had done in 21, their concern is they don't think their basic wash is gonna be enough. They wanted us to understand that they think that splitting the case open might be the best way to go about it and clean it that way. Their concern with that is knowing what you get into after that. They wanted us to understand that the potential for a complete overhaul at that point might be in order. One of the big discussions we had was about the demolition of the coal plant. We were running a lot that summer. They think that contributed a lot to the dirtiness of the unit inside. But they were gonna have a guy down Monday morning. He's gonna do his initial inspection and maybe try and give us a better understanding after that of where we go from here. But they did want us to understand that the possibility of a complete overhaul might be in order. So I went back and did some looking. Our last overhaul was in 05. The one before that was in 95. So we are bumping 20 years since an overhaul, so, that's not a for sure yet, but they wanted us to understand that was a possibility.
How long would that take it down?
That I don't know. I can see that being 6 months.
Okay.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. That's about where we were last overhaul. So. I also talked to JCI yesterday. The circ water pumps for 10 and 11 are complete. We will pick those up first part of next week. And that's all I got, unless you got any questions.
When did you say they're gonna be?
Monday morning.
And I've been kind of updating you guys a little bit on, what we do know, and we can continue to do that if you like, just to kind of know what direction we're gonna need to head, so.
Actually, Unit 6 we called on quite a bit.
Well, that's the unit that made $5 million worth of market revenue in Winter Storm Uri, so, we've got, and we put some reserves back for these units, just specifically for this type of thing, so. Tony's not here to speak to funding, but I think if it comes to an overhaul, we have the funds needed to address it, so.
Well, I mean, we need the unit.
Well, and the pool needs the capacity, I had a pool meeting yesterday, and capacity's getting tight and expensive, so.
Splitting the case is a big job, so they're doing that just to do a cleaning. You're halfway into an overhaul at that point. So,
Yeah, we talked, if we're gonna go that route, let's do everything we need to do, and, I don't wanna take it apart and clean it when, in fact, if there was other things we could, if we get another 20 years out of it, that would be.
Splitting it just to clean it, does that shorten up that downtime?
I don't know that. I'm sure it would. I don't know how much. I think their big concern yesterday was just making sure we understand that once they open it up, you're not sure what you're gonna find and how much farther it goes beyond that.
I would like to continue to see that focus myself.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep sending them out. Isn't a lot of that overhaul, because they have to actually ship the turbines back
Yeah,
to their shop.
in the past, we've always shipped the rotors off.
I think that's where a lot of your time, you gotta take it out, and then they've gotta take it down to their shop, which is in Houston, I think, in Houston. Rebuild it, ship it back, so that's where you get into the. Right.
Yeah.
Still think you want to cover the loading dock?
Not having ConAgra, I'm less inclined to do that. We can pick and choose our times now of loading and unloading trucks, so I don't see that as being a big issue.
Any other questions for Jared? Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Travis, good morning.
Morning. Not a whole lot to add, other than what's in the packet. Farmer that was hauling sludge, they did show up one day, they hauled 16 loads, and I haven't heard any more out of them. He told me he was originally wanting 30 of them at least, so I'm not real sure where that stands now, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
We loaded it for him and then he
Yep.
loaded it into his truck?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, as a local farmer, he was just a few miles from the plant.
You got all their media on site?
I believe so, yes.
Just
kind of scattered all over the place, so. Be glad when they get that project going and finished.
Questions for Travis? Thank you, Travis.
Thank
You gonna take Tony's?
Yeah, I'll do my best. Couple meetings there with the city, and Chuck could try to maybe talk about the meeting we had with the budget committee. We did have the meeting with RTS and the city just to, I think, improve communication on, since we do the billing, we get a lot of questions, but we don't really have very many answers, so hopefully we'll move forward there with a little better communication, which will, at the end of the day, will help the customer, or should. Then, Chuck, if you want to
Yeah,
talk about
just-
the meeting with the council, or the
Well,
budget committee.
Yeah, I did speak to it last meeting, and really the only, where we're at with it right now, the status, Tony was, well, maybe working with you, kind of put together a proposal, what that might look like as far as what we present to the city, and how, utilities, we might be able to charge them for certain facilities that they have, and then other facilities we may continue with giving them free utilities. So that proposal, I know, I'm not sure where Tony's at with it, but I know he's working on it, and that'll be the next step.
Yeah, I think they asked for something by, the first of the year, the end of this year is kind of when they want to sit
Yeah.
back down
Uh-huh.
and have that discussion.
Yeah. Kind of get everybody's budgets so they can plan their budgets for the following year. So,
Yeah, we'll come back to you.
Come back to the-
All right.
We got, yeah, Megan's in there somewhere.
Just an update on the systems maintenance, mechanic and electric production. We did make 2 offers on that, for that position. And we made 2 offers rather than 1. We had 2 quality candidates, and made that decision to prepare for some future retirement in that department. So we will have an extra employee in that position temporarily. And then the first time that there's another opening come up, we won't fill that, and we'll be back down to normal numbers. So we're getting close on the groundman to getting the pre-employment screening completed. And we did get the first aid CPR training scheduled in that last week of September. That is locked in. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer questions.
We get all our summer help positions filled, or we just give up?
Kind of gave up. Getting a little late.
That's why I didn't see them when they just said.
It's been a struggle for several years.
I see some, and I think they're going to be employees on UTVs. Are they out when we can go? Is that our people?
That's probably poll inspectors.
Okay, that's what it is. So they're the third party pole inspection company. Okay.
Any other questions for Megan? Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Jeff, man.
I do have one action item this morning, kind of a housekeeping item. It's street lighting policy. We've made the switch to LED fixtures. We just need to update the policy to match that. Chuck did see there was, on the street lighting list, which we can update that separate to the policy. There was one error there that we're going to correct. I think one line got left at high pressure sodium and needs to be be switching to LED. And just kind of a housekeeping, the massive change we've made in city street lighting.
I know I appreciate that, you stay on top of these programs and policies, make sure they get updated, because if you don't, they lag and then just get so out of date.
We've got some others, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's part of it.
I would make that a motion to approve the street lighting policy you have presented.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the street lighting policy as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Not a whole lot to add. As I mentioned earlier, the groundbreaking for Napa is at 2 o'clock today at the MSCC Industrial Park. Did get notification yesterday by email from USDA. They did approve our supplemental funding and time extension. So for round one, the supplemental funding increase was $149,478. Round two, we did get the supplemental funding increase plus a time extension. That increase was in the amount of $1,032,346. So did get those documents executed and sent back to USDA. So it was, I think primarily due to, COVID. We kind of got those right in the middle of COVID, price increases. We didn't apply for an extension on round one, because I think the timelines were good. Appreciate USDA's effort there to work with us and help deal with some of the challenges. Did attend MOPEP meetings yesterday. We had our MOPEP meeting, and we had a demand side management discussion afterwards. There were some good discussions there. But one of the things out of the MOPEP meeting, capacity's pretty short. The resource adequacy requirements, SPP did increase those from 12% to 15%, and I think that's looking to go up another couple percent to close to 18%. So, and basically what that is, whatever your peak is, you have to carry that percentage over what your peak is. And if everybody does that, when the unit goes down or whatever, that leaves enough there. But renewables are driving up resource adequacy. How the units get accredited is changing. So you may, I think prior to that, they used nameplate information. Now it's actual generation gas reporting that we started doing. So a lot of changes coming in on the market side of things. The capacity's getting really tight.
So this issue with Unit 6, do we notify OPEB that that's?
Yeah, then he's got to document daily what status that unit's in as part of that gas reporting. And those all kind of fall out from Winter Storm Uri. I mean, there was a lot of capacity that was being accredited, but it wasn't able to show up during the event. So the market monitors are going through and making sure that doesn't happen. If we're counting for you, then you need to be able to show up.
It's be reliable.
That's a lot of what this gas reporting is. So it's not getting easier, but I think the pool does a really good job down there keeping us informed and staying on top of those issues. Did just want to touch on a little bit here on the Lime. Again, I've spoken to a couple other landowners about Lime application, so I think we may have a few more leads. Ken was able to kind of bring one of those to me, and then Dan Weber with Weber Seeds. I talked to the city administrator about some of the city property, but I think Dan's interested. I sent him some lime samples and interested in having some of that applied to his property. All these so far we're going to have to haul and apply ourselves. It's hard to find somebody that can take it. And I think that's probably what's led to some of our difficulties in getting rid of it. I think, I don't know if Travis has had a chance to check, but I think DNR, everybody I talked to is going, well, I got soil samples, but we can't use those. And we have to go get different samples if we apply it, which you can't do that until the crops are out. And you got 30 days till you get the sand. By then, the windows to get it applied is more than likely maybe closed. So, that permits up next year. I think we'll try to have some discussions with DNR to maybe see if we can't get something changed. I think that change, I think is really what's kind of making this program hard to execute. So, but we got some positive leads there. I think Travis went looked at a truck yesterday. You guys do was that Wednesday?
Wednesday.
So, there's probably gonna be a truck in the budget. We're gonna have something spread. So, Travis went looked at one Wednesday. We wanna make sure it will spread line. We got the one for the biosolids, and it works great for that, but it won't do both. So, continue to work on that as well. Time of use is coming along. Doug should be getting the program today for that. For the meter, Tony's working on getting the module from Tyler for billing. Plan to have a meeting next week with staff, just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page as we kind of move that forward. Making progress there. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Move on to cash disbursements.
May see why Tony's not here.
I do see why he's not here.
Lot in there. I think the quarterly pilot payments are in there. Broadband, bandwidth, chemicals. So I think everything hit at the same time. Purchase power. Broadband, cogen is in there too, and the bandwidth.
That's typical. Once a month.
Once a month.
They're not very big.
We approve cash disbursements.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve cash disbursements. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any other business?
I did the electric distribution report annual. I did, there's a couple of things I wanted to ask about. So in some of the substation switchgear, I see a comment that it may have a spare breaker, but then there's no room for an additional conduit.
Specifically, which one are you talking about, Chuck?
Well, let's see, I think
That'd be Miami one.
Miami, yeah, yep. That's exactly, I think, where it would be. Yeah, Miami substation switchgear, there's one spare breaker in this lineup, but there's no room available to bring a conduit out. So does that limit us what we can do there? I mean, how extensive?
Yeah, pretty much that, the way that feeder's coming out of that sub, it's all pretty much just exposed there on the outside, the way they come in the back of that gear, there's not really room to even add any more. At this time, the way it's designed now, that, of course, is in the budget, we're looking to upgrade that, to replace all that switch gear.
So really, what
Hopefully we
this-
won't have that much longer.
This spare breaker does, if one fails, then that
Actually, the spare breaker that we've had for that, we did have one it's not in good shape. It didn't, we sent it off to have it repaired, and it didn't survive the trip back. So we're actually we don't have a spare breaker.
And then I'm just curious, overall on our substations and transformers, do we have additional capacity? I mean, if we looked at growth and things like that, would we have to do anything extensive or?
It depends on how much, I think. You know, we can.
And does it depend on where we're at too?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we can absorb some growth about any of our substations. Miami One's probably our most loaded transformer right now. Because of, it feeds North Street Sub, it's really heavy residential, it feeds ConAgra. But we can still absorb a little bit of growth there. Be in better shape than some of the other substations for growth.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape, and again, I think what's critical is where is just as important as anything. You know, it gets pretty congested at the subs trying to get that capacity out, and I think what you brought up is just one example of, there's some congestion there. I think we're gonna try to address when we replace it. Toth is working on that now. What we don't know is if we're gonna do the circuit switcher at the transformer. But we definitely know we're gonna need to do the gear. That gear's not in very good shape.
Yes, so what, long range, we don't see the need for any additional substations. Is that?
That would be.
Maybe not?
That'd be, yeah. Now, if we had some growth, and I think that's, one thing our 161 line gives us the potential for is, it goes around the city, and we could, drop another sub if we needed to, if there was growth, that would warrant that. I think, a lot of times when we get requests from Missouri Partnership, we consider the transmission line to submit to, not just a substation. So I think that gives us a little bit of flexibility having our transmission system. Biggest challenge there is ground and having, a place to locate. We just don't have a lot of sites to offer.
So if Miami is the heaviest loaded, which one's the least loaded?
Least loaded would be probably southeast sub.
Where?
Southeast sub.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
The next board meeting is August 3rd.
I'm good.
One of the special meetings.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I confirmed it yesterday. Well, we just got a surprise for
Oh,
you. We know how you like
I
that.
don't like surprises.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Money?
Well. No other business. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Steve, that envelope, you want to do that?
Oh. Well, thank you. Oh, it's not for me.
It's not for you.
Mr. Jeff Bergstrom, 35 years employment anniversary. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm barely that old.
Huh?
I'm barely that old.
You're never sneaker.
Board of Public Works would like to congratulate you on the completion of 35 years of service to Marshall Municipal Utilities. Although we do not say it often enough, we do appreciate the energy, devotion, and dedication that our employees shows in the performance of their work. It is you who keeps utilities operating on a day-to-day basis and have kept the quality of our service to the community at a high level. Thank you for your efforts during the past year and keep up the good work in the future.
If I get any pictures, Chuck or Ken's got a DM so he can get fine too.
Sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been I don't know where the time's gone.
Yeah.
but I
Congratulations, Jeff.
enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks, Jeff, appreciate it.
Sorry about that, Jennifer, I didn't even
No,
look
you're
at
fine.
it. Thought it was somebody.
Glad to know your resume, so.
Coming in hot.
I move we adjourn. A second.
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.